Pair of 3, a PM2, and a mini Adamas. Be nice if these didn't take up so much damn space. They're so wide. Probably my favorite company at the moment. Still halfway decent pricing with good materials. Made in the US. It's hard to beat. Also, a lot of sprint runs in different steels. Top 5. I think top 3 are on the table right now. I'd have to think about the other two. Give me a sec to think about it. Qwerty, what's up? How's it going? So that one's number... This one I think is actually going to be above the mini Adamas. And... yeah, that's a solid number 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Pair of 3 in Maximate, PM2 in S45, Civivi Cadus in 14C, a Benchmade Mini Adamas, and then a QSP Penguin. Best knife, kind of depends on what you're looking for. But I think that those are my top 5. My largest knife is a Rat 5. It is in a different room, and I don't remember where I put it, so I can't go and grab it. I think my biggest folding knife is my Spyderco Military. Yeah, fixed blades just aren't my thing because I don't wear a belt. So I don't have anything to hang them off of. And my pants don't have belt loops either, so. Robert, what's up? Do I have any or like? No, OTFs are not my thing personally. Oh. Wonder if there's a way that I could make this little thing not smell terrible? Well, there you go. Oh, God. I need to work on that. Maybe try some scented mineral oil. If you know, you know. Some Kershaw knives are great. Some suck. It's not so much as where they're made as materials. Like, I'm just tired of getting screwed out of money from companies that use shitty materials. So some Kershaw knives are great. Some Kershaw knives suck. It depends on which one you're looking at. I do love my Spydercos. Well, maybe that'll help this thing not smell fucking terrible. Aiden, what's up? How's it going? I finally put the Koenig up publicly. I was kind of tired of waiting. I have come to terms with the fact that most people can't afford it anyway. So we'll see if it sells. I use mostly an Atoma 140 and an SATC 400/1000. I don't use a whole lot more than that. Sometimes I use a Chiefer cut vitrified diamond stone. It really depends on what I'm sharpening, though. My EDC changes often. It's no longer weekly, but lately it's been my PM2 and then my Spyderco military, which is over in the other room. Abdullah, what's up? Welcome back. Hopefully that thing won't smell terrible next time that I open it. At the moment, we are looking at my top 5 knives that I own. Should probably put them in order. Oh, that's fun. I've done that before. It was so fun, I decided to move over to power tools. Sharpest knife is probably my Bradford. It has a huge bevel with a really low angle edge. And honestly, it passes through paper like it's not even there. That one's my favorite. It's a Para 3 in Maximate. I think I'll stick with my less portable stuff. I can understand not wanting to spend the time learning how to sharpen, because in everyday life it's not the most useful skill, but I already learned how to do it, so there's no point in moving over to the fixed angle systems if I already know how to sharpen. Slender, you never paid. If you're not going to pay for things, then I'm not going to send them to you. It's how business works. I already told you, $5,000. I think a fixed angle system would have been cheaper than all the shit that I have. See, that just makes sense right there. Living in Oregon and owning stuff from Oregon companies. That makes sense right there. You're looking for a new one? A new what? God, I forgot how much I miss this thing. I don't carry it very often. For some reason, from my angle, the edge looks curved. Never messed with a Bear and Son knife. I mean, I've held them, but I've never carried one. Well, I've got plenty of stuff for sale if you're interested. Just tell me what you're looking for, and I'll tell you if anything that I have matches what you're looking for. I really do miss this thing. For 32 bucks. I think this one's like 38. It's a pretty solid knife. Ryan, what's up? How's it going? Favorite vintage knife? Lucky for you guys, I have all my old shit down here too. And Autonomy too. I need to look that thing up. So this is my favorite vintage knife. It is a Case Tadpole. This was made in, what was it, the 30s or something? Thing's almost 100 years old. Well, chances are if it has a nail nick, you're not going to be using it to defend yourself, because any stabbing that goes wrong will close it. I have a lot of knives that I regret selling. Oh, you got a ton of water tonight. Fuzzy, what's up? This thing needs cleaned. But this is the military. Yep, the Rat 1 is a good knife. The Rat 2 is a good knife. And my Rat 5 treated me all right. I buy a lot of knives from pawn shops. Yeah, I just don't like OTFs and push button autos either. It doesn't smell as bad. Commander, welcome back. Did you see that we hit 2K? And then 2100. Been doing good. Yep, we hit 2K. And then the stream started doing better after we hit 2K. Surprise, surprise. So before we start cleaning this thing, it's got some surface rust on it from when I carried it last. I would like to look at that under the microscope. You are indeed 23 minutes late. I keep forgetting you that your Spyderco is still being held. Let me look up the autonomy real quick. I think I just grabbed my second phone, but I don't remember where I put it. God damn, I'm special. the silver small knives. That is probably permanent damage right there. A lot of permanent damage. I've been collecting since sometime in 2022, and I've been selling since late 2023. All right, let me go find the other phone. Thought I grabbed it. No, I didn't. Okay. That was dumb. Not a whole lot. I'm trying to look up a knife before I forget again. A Spyderco autonomy. I have no clue how that thing works. I've never held one. It's interesting though. No clue how that thing works. Other than their prices, Benchmade makes decent stuff. I do not have a PC. Nope. Well, I have bad news and good news, Aiden. Bad news? That is definitely permanent rust. Good news? For you, anyway. It sounds like I'm probably going to be getting some barkeeper's friend to get rid of that. No, I ended up putting it back together the way it was. That's the one, or that's the way that it worked best, was the way that I had it, unfortunately. We put a little Loctite and a little bit of grease just so that it worked well. I think I'm going to stick with the stuff that takes a little bit of elbow grease to do it. It's more satisfying and people actually end up watching it when I do that. I'm going to put this thing back before I forget to put it back. The skinny black one. This one. It's a Civivi Catus. Caetus. I'm an entertainer. When it comes to YouTube, anyway, I'm an entertainer. And as much as I'd love to take solid advice from everybody, doing things by hand keeps people watching for longer. I'm pretty sure evaporust, you just like put the knife in there and then pull it out a day later. But if I do it by hand, then you guys get to watch me do something for like 13 minutes. Content. Appreciate the offer, though. Trust me, if I wanted it done easily, I would have done it easily. Indeed, Spyderco knives. Yeah, I don't know if you guys would want to watch that, though. For some reason, I doubt that that would do very well. Indeed. Yep. That would be the only reason people would stick around is to watch that. Now that I've gotten a little bit better at sharpening, we're going to resharpen my penguin again at a lower angle than before. Last time I sharpened it, I couldn't hold an edge couldn't hold an angle properly. So we're fixing what I messed up last time. It is water with, what's my mixture today? Give me a sec. 2 ounces of water, a splash of 70% isopropyl alcohol, 15 drops of mineral oil, and 2 drops of Dawn dish soap. So this one's a 140 grit. Last night's was a 400. I'm using this one because I want to remove material quickly. So they don't need lubrication. However, supposedly it helps with the longevity of the diamond plate that you're using. Frankly, whatever I can do to make this thing last longer, I'm happy to test. Hey, I don't add salt. That would rust it, man. Extra large fry. That sounds pretty fucking good right about now, though. Oh yeah, I always end up with a nice edge. This is just the reprofiling stone, so I'm not going for an edge at the moment. I'm going for fixing problems that I made the last time I sharpened it. I have no clue what angle I use. And I say that with confidence because I don't. Well, the correct way, if you ask me, is whatever works. I don't know what that says. $8,000 grit is the highest that I have. Those VEF serrations are nasty, dude. They are some wild stuff. Actually, that's not true. The highest grit I have is 60,000, but the highest useful grit that I have is 8. Nope. Largest knife I've sharpened was 8 inches. Yeah, it makes a difference. It really isn't all that much work. As long as you know how to do it, an extra 10 minutes. Yeah, I would use something like a file for a machete. I can get a nice on 500. I don't need to go any higher than 500. Sometimes I just feel like it. Some steels like it, some steels don't. Like the current steel we're working with is D2, and it doesn't care for those high grit edges. It'll be happy with 400. I don't know. I've never done enough testing for to know the difference. It's, to me, it's a cosmetic thing. Some steels like Crewware bite a little bit better with that 8,000 grit edge than the 500 that I leave usually. There is. Been doing all right. How about yourself, Ron? So, you measure sharpness typically by the standard at the moment is BESS certified sharpness testers, and they use a filament of some sort placed in a cradle that you sit on top of a scale, and that scale measures how many grams it takes to cut the filament in half. I don't have a sharpness tester. I know my stuff gets sharp. I don't need to know how sharp. And I've never messed with K390. I'd like to get some, but yeah, don't worry about it. Drop in whenever you feel like it. Don't need to feel obligated to do anything. I don't use a strop to remove burrs. I remove the burr um, before I move over to the strop. Zoo, just so you know, they smell like vape juice right now. As long as you like your knife, I'm not going to tell you that it's bad. You know, if it treats you well, if it holds a decent edge, there is nothing wrong with your knife. Just because it doesn't cost $200 doesn't mean that it's not worth buying. I think a lot of those larger knife YouTubers forget that um, you know, they get to the point where all their knives are a couple $100 and they don't have very many of the cheaper ones. Not every cheap knife is bad. Old man on the ridge, welcome back. Appreciate that, Vault Tech. But yeah, they tend to forget that there's good stuff for decent prices. And I get it, the cheaper stuff doesn't usually get very many views, but the cheaper stuff is what most people can afford. I don't plan on this channel becoming one of those shills where all I do is show you guys stuff that people send to me. And don't get me wrong, I'd love it if they sent me stuff, but you know, my videos will always have an honest opinion. I'm not going to tell you guys to buy something that I wouldn't buy. That's actually kind of funny. Lucifer, nice. You hear on the TV, awesome. How's that watch treating you? Do you actually wear it, or do you, It's mostly water. Honestly, I could probably get away with just water and a little bit of Dawn dish soap. So this is a diamond lapping film set from Sharpo. SHARPO, that they sent for testing. These things leave some of the nastiest edges right off the bat without stropping. I was gonna say that's nice, but you know. So next we move on to the strop because I already took the burr off. On the bright side, it's getting used. That's the good thing, at least. You bought a fake Gerber the other day? What one did you get? Damn. Oh, a Gerber Gator. So all I can do is recommend my set. I wish you luck with the strong arm. The real strong arms aren't. The quality control on those things kind of sucks. So I'm kind of hoping that the fake one's better. So my recommendation for sharpening equipment, I mean, I have been doing this for quite a while. An Atoma 140. With the aluminum base. This runs like 50 something. The SATC 400 1000. And a decent strop. I didn't know that they made fake Ozark trails. Okay, apparently that thing's like 80 to 90 depending on where you get it. Atoma 140 diamond plate. I didn't know they made a small one. Hmm. Anyway, well, how much is it on Amazon? $78.90. So yeah, that's unfortunately it's a little more expensive than I was hoping, but oh, and there's only one left on this one. Hmm. Pads? What do you mean by that? Water time. You mean like these lapping films? This is what they look like, by the way. Best product. Did you say how much were they? How much were they? Yeah, okay. So the diamond ones, the full set is 70 for a 320 grit, a 320, a 500 grit, an 1800, and a 3000. Let me pull up their website real quick. Yeah. You get 12 films, you get 3 of each grit. So you get 3 of the 320s, 3 500s, 3 1800s, and 3 3000s. Yeah, I sell actual knives if you're interested. I will be very careful. These knives, they can indeed cut things. I recommend learning how to sharpen first, but I will have a video coming out on these things on how to use them properly in the coming weeks. I just need to do the video properly because every time I've done it so far, I screw up. Not proud of that, but there's nothing I can do about it, unfortunately. Nope, I don't have any belt sharpening systems. No, the problem is I need to record better. I need to record better videos. And sure, I'd love to hire somebody to do it for me, but I don't have the money to do that. So I'm just going to continue doing what I do now, which is forgetting to upload until. No, I'm not forgetting. I need to do a better job. You know, if I'm doing something for a company, I want it to be solid quality. I'll show you how I sharpen my knives here in a sec. We've got to resharpen another one anyway. Oh yes, we are on the 3rd page. Here we go. So we are 37 knives in on that 500 grit lapping film, which is already passing everybody's expectations so far. So I have nothing to complain about. I'm already impressed. If it died on the next one, I'd still be impressed already. I mean, let's be completely honest here, right? You guys, as the average people, if you're sharpening a knife, you're not going to be sharpening 37 knives in a couple weeks, right? I do because I own as many as I do and I use them. But you, as a regular not knife addict, hopefully, don't have this problem. I do have trouble remembering some knives. But when you've got as many as I do, and when you've seen as many as I have, I don't know, you kind of just forget stuff. So Ethan, yes, I sell actual knives. I meant to continue on with that. Is there something specific you're looking for? We're gonna resharpen. We'll put 1,000 grit finish on this one. Let's look at this thing under the microscope now that I've used it a ton. Get a good look at the damage that I'm leaving behind. You can see some marks, some lines. So let's take a look and what kind of permanent damage we've left behind after 37 knives. Okay, we got a little bit of damage. We have some permanent steel shavings in there. Move over to a section that hasn't been used much. This section is basically new. As we get over, you can see more damage over time. Some lines right there from when a tip of a knife scratched it. We can go closer. Anyway, so the thing that happened with the 14,000 grit is a lot of permanent buildup from steel that I was unable to clean off. I mean, glass, yes, technically, but also no. I tried an eraser. The eraser isn't small enough. So yes, glass. With lapping films on top and on bottom. I did try an eraser, and I want to try it again just because. But I don't know where a pencil is at. Yeah, it's 14,000 grit. It's not. I wasn't able to get anything out, so. You guys want to see something that looks wild under a microscope? It's not a stone. This is 14,000 grit. You cannot resurface this. I have one automatic. So let's look at one thing that you guys might find interesting under a microscope. Bonk, you're late. You're a couple weeks late. Oh, you'll find this interesting. Oh, damn, I guess I can't zoom in any further than that. That sucks. was hoping we could look at the dial of my watch under a microscope, but nope. Permanent scratches on titanium. Engraving. Now we can show some actual diamonds. I mean, yeah, those were diamonds too, but this one, the Atoma 140, that causes camera issues every time that I put it on. The diamonds on this thing are pretty big. So the diamonds on this plate are yellow. So there's a set of diamonds right there. Yep, this is an Atoma 140. Definitely some cool stuff. Now let's look at a section that I haven't used a ton. Right there. Oh, yeah, that's actually a better section right there. And that's an even better section. Okay. There we go. Yellow diamonds. So the yellow strings that you're seeing are the microfiber cloth that I use to clean this. It tears little pieces of the microfiber cloth out. So yeah, you are looking at this stone under a microscope. Just a ton of little sparkly things. I'll agree with you on that. When you screw up on an atoma, you can tell that you screwed up. As long as you know what it's supposed to feel like. And yeah, I'd highly recommend trying one of these things out after you get used to using a stone. The thing is, the 140 grit removes so much material so quickly that if you make a mistake as a beginner and you don't catch it early on, you might not be able to fix it. Actually, in my opinion, somebody else said this and I was like, that makes perfect sense. A 1000 grit diamond plate is what I would recommend for beginners. Because at least a 1000 grit stone of some sort. And the reason I recommend it, and the reason why they recommended it, is because it removes some material so you can tell what you're doing, but not enough to ruin anything. Like, if you make a mistake on a 1000 grit stone, it's, oh no. Just keep on sharpening. No, I agree, but you should learn on a high grit, on a higher grit stone than on a low grit stone. Mistakes are just so much easier to fix on a high grit stone. I've messed up a few knives. That QSP Penguin was one of them. I screwed up royally on one side on the 140 a while back, and I haven't fixed it yet. It's going to take a long time to fix it. I've done that too. At the time, I think it was my most expensive knife. I was sharpening on my DMT, and as I was sharpening, I dropped it and just a huge scrape all the way across the blade. I mean, we just have different ways of thinking. It is what it is. Squeak. Wonder if I've gotten any messages about the Koenig yet, or how many views it's gotten. I did put the Koenig up for sale publicly just before I started the stream. Yeah, I use a strop all the time. That's what I finish with. I don't typically need to. Yep. Burr removal is hard for beginners because a lot of times they use a cheap knife to learn. And the cheap knives, it sucks removing a burr from one of those. Like me, as somebody who has been doing this for a bit, it takes me a while to get one of those burrs off. That's why I recommend anybody who's just starting, you get a decently cheap knife in D2 and learn how to sharpen with D2. D2 you can get for 30 to 40 bucks that with a good knife and decent heat treat. And being that it's not a super soft steel, you have the opportunity to learn how to do burr removal quicker than if you did something with a cheap knife. Because trust me, those cheap knives suck. Doing burr removals on cheap knives is a massive pain. I just recommend D2 because of how easy it is to remove the burr. 1095 is a little squishy compared to D2. Hello from America. I don't know, genuinely. Like the YouTube chat, crown crap, I don't understand that. If they made it make sense somehow, maybe I'd say it's a good idea. But every time that I've looked into it, it's just stupid. No. It is the most inaccurate point counting system I think I've ever seen. Which is a wild thing to say, but it is so inaccurate. Like, Bonk was in here and sent 5 messages or something and is in second place versus Mafio Bill right here, who's been here for a little bit longer and sent significantly more messages and is in 5th place. It is a fairly thin blade. It has some chips in it, so that is what we are here fixing. Sheep's foot. It's the easiest to sharpen in my, and I find it more useful than any of the other blade shapes. I do a lot more utilitarian tasks in my everyday life, which is like mostly cutting cardboard and food wrappers. So a blade shape like a deep drop point just isn't going to work out for me in my daily life. So a low clip point, kind of like this, or a sheep's foot. Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. I'll be honest, I kind of knew from the beginning that it was made in China, so if you buy it, you can do whatever you want with it, Jazzy Jeff. Here's my rules for selling things. All I can say is if you do something that ends up in injury, it is not my fault because I said so. These knives are sharp. When I sell them to you, they are sharp. They will stay that way until they are no longer sharp. I would recommend using something that has multiple blades, such as a razor that you would use for shaving. You know, I'd call it a stuffed animal, but it wasn't really an animal. I think it was my first set of, no, not my first set, but it was a full set of 3. I see. I promise you a knife is not easier. I'd recommend a pair of scissors before I recommend a knife. Damage Justice over here trying to blame me for what he did. Pfft. Evil. You are evil. You like the box? Don't know what you mean by that. Yep, this thing's going to be a great knife when I'm done with it. Then I just need to sell it to somebody. Then I can go buy another knife. Then sharpen that one and then sell it. And the process continues. Okay. No? Nope. No headset, no microphone, just the phone in front of me. Talking to you guys. Or you, I guess, because you're the only person talking back. Coda, what's up? How's it going? Oh yeah, sometimes they just don't reply. It happens. Oh, okay. So right up here in the corner, there's a three dot thing. If you click on that, then you click on chat filter, and then you click on all messages, then you'll see more people. Preference on brand at the moment is Spyderco. Like they're extremely ugly, but they do great heat treats and they're comfortable, so looks don't matter at that point. Yep. Yeah, I forget to do that sometimes too. What's your preference at the moment? Or do you have a preference? Oh, I was asking Coda what his preference was in knife company. Oh, you know who I recommend looking into is a company called NAFS, KNAFS. Really friendly guys. RW, what's up? Andrew, yeah. They just make good stuff. They're ugly, but they do make good stuff. Spydercos are ugly, not the NAFS knives. I wish Smith and Wesson made quality pieces. They So Smith & Wesson doesn't make their own knives. What they do is they license out the name to Chinese manufacturers to let them make knives with a Smith & Wesson name on them. If you want a gun company that makes knives that are good, I'd look into Hogue. Yep, PM2 is what I've been carrying for the last week or so. Hi, person whose name I can't pronounce. Oh, so your phone call is more important than me. I see how it is. Just go and hurt my feelings, why don't you? I haven't seen a knife from Glock that I was super happy with. But I also don't collect fixed blades. I collect folding knives. Very funny. At least your name's accurate. I can appreciate that. So, Mr. Mrs. Whatever, I'm a troll. Question for you. How many people do you actually get with that? Genuinely curious. I'm wondering how many people have not read your thing, actually read it before saying it. Interesting. No, I doubt they will. It is mostly my responsibility to take care of what's going on in chat. So, most of the time, YouTube doesn't give a shit as long as threats aren't being made and things that are inappropriate in a sexual manner or anything like that. As long as it's none of that, then YouTube usually doesn't give a shit, which I'm fine with. It allows me to run my channel the way that I prefer to run it. I'd much rather it be the way that it is now than extremely strict. Well, I already know where you're going with that once you said FA, but like I just genuinely don't care because it's a word. Oh, I've never heard that one before, Edward. I don't have any newspaper. I should go out and buy a newspaper. Not that there's going to be anything interesting on it. Actually, I'm sure there's a place that has free newspapers around here. Just believe me when I say that my knives are sharp. Dyslexia. I do not have that. One of my buddies does, apparently. Never tried tissue, but the tissues we get are kind of expensive, so there's no point in wasting them on that. I've done the paper towel test multiple times, and it goes fine. I mean, nope, never been. Oh, no, that's not true. I've only been stabbed once, and it was in the hand. Ooh, look at me. I'm in second grade, and I'm going to stab you with a pencil. Fucking asshole. I mean, I was in second grade too, but unless it's a hand, then no. Only been stabbed in the hand. I'm sure Braden's off doing wonderful things in prison. He was always a little asshole, so. Average Braden. um, God, you need to work on your spelling, buddy. Braden's the kid that stabbed me in the hand in second grade with a pencil. And actually, Mafia Bill spelled it right. The weird way of spelling it. I don't know. That's kind of the same thing as saying, like, people live up to their astrology bullshit. I don't know. I haven't looked into them since second grade. So, but like I was saying, there is no way he's not in prison right now. Like, if you're stabbing people in second grade, God knows what you're doing in other grades, let alone after high school. That was pretty funny. I wonder who made it up. Like, genuinely curious now. Give me a sec. I'm gonna look up who made that shit up. Who made up that astrology bullshit? All right, we'll see you later, Damage Justice. It's from ancient Babylonians and Sumerians, according to Google's AI that sucks. It has Greek and Egyptian influences from around 300 BC. Because fuck BCE. BC is the way to go. What to do, what to do, what to do. I'm always wondering what I should do. What is my favorite color supposed to be? It's changed over the years, and I'm sure it's wrong. No way, I am such an Aquarius. My favorite color is purple. Not. I don't even think gold is an option, but gold is my favorite color. Aquarius power colors. Electric blue is confidence. Turquoise is tranquility. White is for peace. And violet is for inspiration, which I have none of. Now I just need a color for motivation because I'm not motivated to do shit. So, any switchblades, I have one that is up for sale. Where is it? It's a Kershaw Launch 1, and it's somewhere on the table. Gemini. Oh, this is funny. When you search up Gemini favorite color, it says AI on Google search does not have a favorite color because it lacks personal feelings. Because it's Google Gemini. Warsmith, what's up? Give me a sec. Yellow is the power color. Green, particularly light or pastel green, represents their adaptable and versatile nature. Orange reflects the sign's spontaneous and adventurous side. White is the same thing as it was for Aquarius. And then light blue is considered a lucky color that brings a calming energy. Man, shut the fuck up. I swear, none of this shit makes any sense to me. Well, here's the problem, Mafia Bill, right? They give you 4 options. 4 options out of 6, 7, 8 colors. 8 main colors. So they pick 4 out of 8 main colors. Chances are, if you like one of the main 8 colors that are in the rainbow plus white and black, yeah, I didn't know that they meant anything either. It's just a fucking color. Oh, there it is. Mafia Bill, remember the white. It's for balance and clarity. You also need to remember your light blue because that's a color you like. Light blue is a lucky color and it brings calming energy. Yeah, I bought this thing because it was cheap. My favorite color is gold. I like how shiny gold is. Oh, that's not a color. Well, when you look at gold, is it a specific color? Yeah, then it's a color. Yes, deep breaths. I'm not your yoga instructor. I'm not going to tell you what to do. Let's all lower our heart rates. All right, we'll see you later, Mafia Bill. You have a good one. Anybody else that's new that wants to ask any questions or talk? No, I just like the color gold because it's shiny. It's called Autism. It's the whole reason I'm into knives too, because they tend to be shiny as well. I was always told I was special. Well, aren't you special? No, I'm not. Zach Labs, what's up? How's it going? I tend to live stream about the same time every day, so not everybody gets notifications. There's actually quite a few people that have notifications turned on and don't get notified. I've got that going on with one of my buddies where, like, I'm subscribed to him, I've got notifications turned on for everything, and I just don't get notifications for him at all. Super, super annoying. You're not wrong. They should have made a PM2. Or no, that would be a PM1. Let's look it up. Spyderco paramilitary. Because if it was going to be one of them, it was going to be the paramilitary without the 2 at the end. But I don't know if they ever made that. Oh. Nope. Yeah, nope. Looks like they never made one that was a liner lock. Which is kind of sad, but that went well. I can't talk about my job, unfortunately. I'll just tell you that it's not very interesting. There we go. Kira, what's up? How's it going? Usually between 2 and 6 hours. Tonight's stream so far has been 2 hours and 15 minutes. I haven't chose to do it yet. Honestly, I might as well. I'll just keep putting it off. With how often I live stream, like I might actually get a decent chunk from AdSense. Yeah, I have no clue how to set up a website. And then I gotta pay to keep it up. I don't know, I'm thinking about a name for a knife company. I want some input from you guys. I'm making this very, very rectangular so that I can make a sign on it. No, I get that. Yeah, I'd much rather that people would buy something from me than donate, because that way they get something out of it. I'm not looking forward to the membership thing because I have no extra content to make for you guys. Like maybe once a week I do membership only streams, but I don't know. It is not a washing machine. It is this. True. Nope, 154 cm. It's just a great all-around steel. What's what? .440. That is, we can look it up. Highly corrosion-resistant stainless steel, used in budget and diving knives. Oh, I hate writing. All right, we'll see you in a bit, Kier. You know what I should do? If I'm going to come out with a knife, I should come out with a knife that has all my favorite things about it. favorite opening mechanism, but I don't want to write opening mechanism. We're going to go with a thumb hole because that is just my favorite by quite a bit, actually. Probably next up would be favorite material, and that would be titanium. Hmm. Let's make sure that I spelled titanium properly. What knife was it that I sold? I don't remember shit. Oh, the Oh So Sweet. There is not. However, give me a second. I need to think about how these things are built. No, there isn't. It is the only way of closing it. One idea that might work I'm not going to recommend it, but it might help, and I'll tell you what it is. You take a Dremel and remove a little bit of material around this section. On this side. You mean like the flipper tab gets in the way? Or this, the lock? Now, the reason I don't recommend it, and I want to explain this before you decide you want to do anything. Like, it's an idea, but it's not a good idea. When you take this thing apart, this knife works the same way. There's a spring-assisted deal on the inside. Yeah. Definitely be careful with any of the knives that I've sharpened. I've just gotten so used to doing this that, yeah, I don't know how we keep hitting these decent numbers, or these good numbers, actually. I've been pretty impressed. So I'm going to show you how your Oh So Sweet works. Okay. I need one of those electric screwdrivers. I might invest in that. Okay. So your Oh So Sweet is run off of a spring. And this material right here is super thin. And if you remove any of it, all that grease that I have placed inside there in yours will be open to the air, and it'll cause issues. Yep, I cram as much grease as I think it needs in there. I'm going to be honest, this is a little easier to put back together than I thought it was going to be. I say before I start putting it back together again. Would I build you another? I didn't build it. I might be able to find another. If I can find another for a good price, then I would definitely be happy to sell it to you for the same price. But I don't build these. I just clean them up. Oh, nothing's broken on it. Plus, I do all the maintenance on these things myself. I don't need no stinking warranty on any parts that they'll ship me. I'm just going to take this off screen and put it together a little quicker. You know what's really sad is there was one of those Kershaw compounds in an auction that I saw, and I would have bought it if I thought I could make money on the rest of it. But those auctions, they I think the thing ended up going for like $250 or something, some stupid high number that made no sense for the knives that were in it. I think 8. And the only one that was decent was that one. Things are going all right. Nothing interesting, so that's a good thing. Yeah, it was just like a whole bunch of Chinese made ones that were in subpar steels, and then the compound, and that was it. Genuinely nothing impressive. We did a QSP penguin, and we finished up the Rough Rider moose knife. If you're in the 30 to 50 range, I'm pretty sure you can get a new one for around that price. So that's what I'm going to recommend if you want one. Let me see how much they are real quick. Yeah, they're $25 new on Knife Center. And then you pay shipping, so it'll end up being like $30. If you want, I can try and find another one. Chances are I probably can, but I can't guarantee anything. Oh, an Infidel in D2. Those things are a bitch to sharpen, by the way. If you end up deciding that you want it, I charge $8 to sharpen Infidels. I should charge more, but I don't. I mean, I can ask one of my buddies if he has one of them. If he does, and I can get it for a good price, then I'll sell you another one if you want that. If not, and you want one new, I would suggest going and checking out Knife Center. I do not fix guns, nope. If I did, I wouldn't do it on a live stream because you can't touch guns on a live stream, which is stupid, but you know, that's how it be. It's part of the rules. What other favorite stuff can I pick? What? I don't handle guns. I have nothing to do with them. Except for my own. A guy that does what? Oh, favorite blade shape. Why not just buy a new one? I don't own a Chris Reeve yet. Eventually I will, I just don't at the moment. Oh. Because I'm not in Europe. I'm in America, and we spell it with an O instead of an OU. Fun fact about America. As for the Claymore, be careful with the Claymore. They are exactly. We also spell color differently. Is it an auto Claymore or a regular Claymore? Auto. So be careful with those. It's a commonly faked knife. Yeah, I figured it was OD green. Compare it to pictures on their website. The fakes, they get the color of the blade wrong. Like, really wrong. Also, compare the font that they use. So on Benchmade, on real Benchmade knives, they use their own font, right? The fake ones get the font wrong pretty often. This one specifically is slightly italicized. So if you look at it, it's not straight up and down, it is slightly at an angle. That's the main thing to look out for. Unfortunately, on the Auto Claymore, I think they're either CPM D2 or regular D2. Pay attention to the butterfly. The butterfly looks a very specific way for a reason. And something else to focus on is the lettering down underneath. I'm just trying to give you all the things to look out for when buying a Benchmade. They are some of the most commonly faked knives on the market. I just don't want you guys going out there and buying a fake Benchmade thinking that it's real. Yep, unfortunately, shit happens sometimes. Not much that can be done about it. Oh. So he's an asshole. Okay. The dude that overpriced the Adamas so that the Adamas is, so this knife right here is a mini Adamas made by Benchmade. The full size Adamas I have off screen, but it doesn't fit on the screen when I'm this far zoomed in. But yeah, it is a model. Favorite blade. And just based off that, I'm going to say that that means blade shape. And that is sheep's foot. Yep, business is business. That is how it works. If I had a buyer for a Benchmade infidel and the one at the pawn shop is still there, I might just snatch that thing up and sell it. I'm sure I could get that thing for a halfway decent price. I just don't like OTFs, so it's not my thing. The infidel? I don't know. They have it priced, I think, at 400, but I'm pretty sure I could get it for way less than that. What would be my price to buy it or sell it? I'd probably try and sell it around 300. What? I don't care. If I make money, I make money. If I don't, I don't. You can ask how much I'd try and buy it for. It doesn't matter. I'm pretty open and shut on things like that. You ask a question, I'll answer it to the best of my ability. Like complete honesty with you. That oh so sweet I bought for $10. I sold it to you for 20 with shipping included. I made $5 in profit. What are the infidels going for? They're not cheap. The problem is you can't sell them on the aftermarket almost anywhere. Yeah, I'm perfectly fine answering questions. It doesn't bother me. You know, sometimes people think that my prices are unfair because of how much I paid. You know, sometimes I try and make a decent profit, but I still sell them for as close to the middle of the road as possible. Okay, so the infidel new is $550. That is disgustingly overpriced. So here's what the Infidel looks like. It's a double edge D2 blade. And it's a chisel ground blade as well. So the problem with that is they are a bitch to sharpen properly. Okay, so out the front automatics, places like Blade Binge and eBay and all those secondary places won't let you sell automatics. Yeah, exactly. $550 for D2 is way too high. Especially when it's only 60 to 62 HRC. That's just sad. I'll be honest, I've never carried a butterfly knife. How much are they elsewhere? $550. Okay. Whoa, 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 whoa. You're telling me that at one point they sold an OD green DLC S30V version for under what they sell the regular one for. Are you shitting me? Like, this already is better in S30V. That's stupid. Now at 550 I would expect high HRC Magna Cut or yeah, S90V, high HRC S90V. Maybe S45 VN. But nothing below S45. D2 is like a huge step down, if you ask me. You managed to get a Benchmade ripoff for like 35 bucks. I really do hate the fake market. What other things should I add on here? This is just a list of my favorite shit with knives. Yeah, you know what's great about the Iridium and just about every CJRB? None of them cost $550. I don't think hardware really matters, to be honest. I'd pick steel, but the reason I'd pick steel is because titanium's softer. I know that for a fact. Yep, that'll happen. Wait until you get something that's bead blasted D2. That shit rusts so fast. Oh, you touched it and didn't wipe it off? Bam, done. Yeah, blade length. Well, when I'm comparing everything that I own, I think the largest knife I'd carry is something that's like 3.7 inches. You have to change your handle. Handle for what? Oh. I recommend you look that up on YouTube because last time I did that was forever ago. No, I definitely can't. Fucking stupidest pocket clip. I hate this pocket clip so much. Oh, that is so much better. So much better. The pocket clip on this thing was garbage. Nope. Most pocket clips don't fit with other knives. Oh, time to get the box out for this thing. And stick the pocket clip in there. I need to tell them that their pocket clip for this thing sucks. Being that I have a decent following now, people actually listen to me. When I say something sucks, they don't take it like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. Now they think, holy shit, this dude's got a small following. Honestly, taking the pocket clip off might help with some stuff. It makes this one hard to close properly, but it is so much more comfortable than it was. And when you dump $300 on a knife, you kind of expect it to be comfortable. And now that that thing's not sitting there stabbing me in the hand, it's actually not that bad. I dropped Metal Complex a while back. It's one of the few times I've actually said I can't watch this guy anymore. Because usually you kind of just sit there and you take it, but God, he went from being, how do I explain that without sounding like a pretentious douchebag? He went from being relatable with some decent priced knives to now just about everything that he shows off is over $1,000, except for his TSA confiscated bullshit. Hey, you fixed it. Cool. Now, look, I understand that not all the knives that I own are things that everybody wants to buy or that everybody can afford. $300 is a lot for this. But I buy the stuff that I like. To be completely fair, if it is new to him, then it is an unboxing. And I would like to clarify. To me, like a new to me knife is a new to me knife. I'll show you the Benchmade thing here in a sec. Actually, I'll just do it now. You grab onto this, and then you pull that back. You can do it with both fingers. Or you can do it with your thumb. Or you can do it with your index finger. I just do both at the same time because it's easier. So yeah, I did an unboxing of a knife a while back, and nobody mentioned that it looked like it was opened already. But it's a Kaiser, and what Kaiser does, their packages fit so perfectly that if you open it ever, it will never fit the same way that it did from the factory. So to be completely fair, some knives just don't fit. Yeah, I can kind of agree with that. Sometimes shit just doesn't come with boxes though. Or sometimes you do buy it used and they already threw away the documentation and stuff. It happens. Okay. So to me, an unboxing as as a content creator, it is me showing that I just bought something. At the end of that, Cody, can you add one other thing for me? That it's for US or US based people only, because I can't afford international shipping. Just something like US residents only or something. A damaged knife with broken... Okay, that's a little different. I'll admit, you got me there. If it was used like new or used but in decent condition, I'd say it's reasonable. If it's got broken shit, then yeah, I can't help with that one. I think I might carry this thing more often now. People are going to take that wrong if I put favorite size on here. Ah, yes. Feed the algorithm. We should sit here and talk about more of the astrology shit. At least try it without the clip. If it doesn't work well, then you just put the clip back on. Make sure that you remember where the clip is along with the screws that come with it. Yeah, that's exactly why I said I don't think I'm going to put a favorite size. My favorite blade length is somewhere between about 2 3/4 and 3 3/4. I believe there's 2 on the Oso Suite. Okay. I don't condone or recommend doing that, but I can't stop you from making decisions. So here in about, how many minutes? 20 minutes. I'm going to go ahead and end it so that I can go to bed. Ooh, Tide Pods. That sounds like a great snack. You know, Kershaw makes other spring-assisted knives, right? Wow, that whistle was loud. Damn. This one's a little slow. So I think here pretty soon I'm going to get myself a knife case. I just want something to, you know, instead of having to come over to this table to grab a knife, just grab a knife out of the case. There's a lady on Facebook Marketplace that has one that looks similar to those really, really expensive ones, but it's 25 bucks. And I'm like, well, that's not a bad price. So I said, hey, is there a time that I could meet you to pick that up? And she never got back to me. You know, apparently when a YouTuber reaches out, you're not interested anymore. I don't know. I don't know what's up with people. Big sad. But what do you do? Maybe I'll build one. Just make a solid steel knife case. No. I'm talking about one of them knife display cases, right? Where it's got the plastic thing on top that you can see through and it holds knives. Like, I already have a shit ton of those Apache boxes from Harbor Freight. Oh, yeah, they do. Stuff like this. Yeah, the lock bar isn't super easy on this one either. So I won't sell you this one, but I can probably get you one of these for a decent price. These ones I struggle to sharpen, so... But yeah, I won't sell you this one specifically. No, you were right. It's Grease. Because of the what now? I won't... Oh yeah, I won't sharpen this because of this section right here. I can't sharpen that. And it's called a recurve. These knives can be used for whatever you want to use them for. Anyway, the reason why I won't sell you this one specifically is because it's got a crack in the blade. On which end? The tip or this side? This? This is called the spine on the back. Have I ever seen... Sorry, you're... I move on really quickly, so trying to keep me on a single topic is not super easy to do. Okay. Let me look up... No. It's this right here. The non-sharp section. Yes, that. I never remember what that word is. I looked up ricotta and cheese showed up, so I didn't I didn't look up the right thing, obviously. On the side? Oh, this? This is a thumb stud. This is a ricasso, I assume. But I looked up ricotta and cheese showed up. So, woohoo. I don't know every term when it comes to knives. No, but it's funnier when I tell you guys what I look up because, well, let's be real. That was pretty fucking funny. I definitely got it wrong. I've only had that on a few Gerbers, I believe. And I never actually got to try it out. But I prefer a thumb hole instead. I'm kind of tempted to just return this thing. And then buy a different one. Like they make a titanium version now. Sandrin knives with Stay Sharp technology. Yep, I can understand not liking that. It's like grip tape, but rubbery. So this isn't made out of steel. ZI, what's up? It's made out of tungsten carbide. Yep, that doesn't surprise me. Why is it that the TCK is expensive as it's just as expensive as this is? I prefer G10. I don't like micarta very much. I don't think I've held a knife that does micarta right yet. Yep. Yep, there's a lot of different handle materials that'll wear out your pockets. I like G10 when it's purple. But I don't own anything in micarta that I like more than G10. I think I might have a custom backspacer made for this. Instead of being red, just make it out of stainless. Crazy, what's up? How's it going? We're about 4 minutes away from the end of the stream. $69. Nice. Yeah, I'm stuck at 68 right now, which means I don't get to see the legendary 69, unfortunately. You have a good one, Rick. We'll see you later. Honestly. Appreciate it, crazy. Hey, now we're at 69 likes. Nice. I'm not an iron worker. I do need to set that up. Honestly. If you double tap the screen, it likes the video. You know what I miss about YouTube back in the day? They used to have this thing where you could see how many dislikes a video had without having to use a Chrome extension. I miss those days when honesty mattered, when like everybody could agree that a video sucked and it had more dislikes than likes and everybody knew it. Oh, I was just talking about back in the day. You used to be able to see the like to dislike ratio on videos. And nowadays they don't do that anymore. for some reason, that doesn't surprise me. No, I wasn't worried about how my videos are doing. My channel average is like 98% positive, so, you know, when you're not a douchebag, people seem to like you for some reason. All right, we'll see you later, Rick. You have a good one. Sounds like a plan. That part I know is true. Hmm. Better hope you're alone in the house. I'm sure it is. Never tried it, to be honest. Yeah, dude, you're playing around with the big dogs right now. Well, unfortunately, the dude's already dead, so. Time to call 811. Gotta know where to dig. Holy fuck, that hurts. Yeah, when you're going for more than 3 hours, you definitely have to stay hydrated. Damn, one side's flat and the rest aren't. Oh well. Alright, I guess I'll set up that giveaway for like sometime in the next couple weeks. Okay. I think I'm going to go ahead and end the stream here. Or maybe one more minute and then we'll end it. But yes, there will be a giveaway here pretty soon. We got a Civivi Mini Praxis and a Civivi Cadus for sale. Or not for sale, for the giveaway. Both are great knives. Gave my dad a Mini Praxis for Father's Day last year. It's treated him great. The Cadus I carried for a week, and then I carried it for another week, even though I wasn't supposed to. It is one of my favorite knives. Yep, both of them do. Anyway, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Hopefully, you guys have a great rest of your night, day, morning, whatever it is. And we'll see you in the next one. That's what I did. Anyway, we'll see you later, Cody and Mac. Have a good one.